Hey there. Welcome in, everybody, into the classroom today. It's glad to see you're all here. So many of you are here. Didn't know what you'd be up to on your holiday weekend, but I'm so glad you have joined me and are joining me. Keep my intro brief. My name is Rebecca Montrone. I have a business here in Keene, New Hampshire, called Wondrous Roots. So I am a certified holistic healthcare practitioner with a degree in holistic nutrition, and I'm also an herbalist. So we have a shop here where we have all kinds of things that are my formulas that I've come up with for if you're into herbal medicine. So we have all kinds of different formulas. We have a skincare line, all botanical, no chemicals, no phthalates, and all that stuff. Also carry a bunch of supplements that are from other providers or manufacturers. Typically things that I use fairly frequently with people, but some other things too. And we have a physical location, 103 Roxbury Street in Keene, just right off the main drag there, the Central Square, up on the third floor of the Miller Forge building. We are open 9:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. We will be closed on Labor Day, Monday. And then we also have most everything is available online, shopwondrousroots.com. So you can kind of check us out there if you want to see what kind of products we have. I meet with clients in private consultation all the time, either here in the office or here long distance on Zoom. So you can reach out to me, 603-439-2603. Or you can go to shopwondrousroots.com or wondrousroots.org, which is kind of more my educational website, and go to contact us, and you type in there, and that comes to my email, and I'll be the one who sees it and responds, the only one. So I think, what do? I work with people of all ages. I work with health problems of all kinds. I consider myself a health detective, trying to figure out what's going on and work from the rootiest level possible to bring healing and recovery, or to prevent for the foibles of aging. Not entirely, of course, but definitely preventing the things the chronic diseases that seem to come so easily in our day and time. So anyway, 603-439-2603, wondrousroots.org, or shopwondrousroots.com. Now, for those of you who are here live, you can participate in today's session. You can type into the chat, go down to the bottom bar, excuse me. Go down to the bottom bar chat. You can raise your hand. If you raise your hand, like Joe did last week, if you were here, I called on him and he actually came on. We could see him in his house on the video. You don't have to be seen. You can just speak. It's all up to you. And yeah, so I think that's that. Plasmalogens. I've been talking a lot about those, and I will be talking about them again. I attended a live webinar with Dr. Goodnow on Wednesday night of this week. It was great because their time is like 3 hours earlier. So 8 o'clock, I've had my supper, I'm settled down. He was talking about cholesterol transport, and that was super fascinating. Again, what I've been preaching for 20 years is that people with high cholesterol live the longest, but he really reinforced that. What was really more important, from my understanding, was the whole understanding of how the brain makes its own cholesterol, and how important it is for us to be able to utilize that cholesterol, what cholesterol levels kind of mean and show. But if you want to do one takeaway from a little teaser on that, people with a total cholesterol of, and this is exactly your doctor would totally tell you, it needs to be lower, and that it's too high. I think he said between 225 and 240 have the greatest longevity. So don't if you take anything away from this today with regard to that, do not fall into the statin trap. Do not fall into the cholesterol is killing you trap. Maybe I'll do a program on that next time, because I think, again, I took every single slide he did. I screen printed. So I have all of those. He's got all kinds of charts and graphs, and I won't go through his whole presentation, but I can show you some more data to back up what I've been saying for a long time. Okay. So I think I'll wait and talk more about that and other things about plasmalogens then. But I think the lipid transport, so super important and very vital to foundational to all of health, really. I've been saying for years, cholesterol is the Lord and giver of life in the hormonal cascade, and it truly is. So anyway, I'll just tease you with that. I know you're like, oh, tell us more, but I will when I have it like laid out better. Okay. Now, I thought I'd start out. I was answering a client email this morning, and I thought it was what I found out to answer the question was kind of interesting. So I thought, just, we're at Labor Day weekend, which it's still summer. People are still harvesting from their gardens. We're still cooking out, and that's not going away just because it's Labor Day weekend. But I thought this was a good question, and maybe you'd find it interesting as I did. Okay, so he said, another question. Organic fruits and vegetables. How can an item be categorized as organic? For example, grapes or watermelon, and there are no seeds in them. Obviously, there was some sort of tampering with the growing of these items. So this is what I found out. Seedless watermelons and grapes. What's really going on? Seedless fruits aren't the result of genetic engineering or tampering in a scary way. They're almost always the product of traditional plant breeding, methods farmers have used for centuries. Seedless watermelon. These are created by crossing a watermelon with two different sets of chromosomes, a diploid, the normal 2 sets, with a tetraploid, which has 4 sets. That cross produces a triploid, 3 sets, which is naturally sterile, just like a mule is sterile. The plant can still produce fruit, but the seeds inside never fully mature, so you get the soft white seed coats instead of the black seeds. All right, seedless grapes, and others like bananas. These rely on parthenocarpy, fruit developing without fertilization, or on producing sterile hybrids. Again, this is a natural biology harnessed through selective breeding, no transgenic modification. So these are not GMOs, if you will. Organic certification. An organic piece of produce is judged by how it's grown. No synthetic pesticides, herbicides, chemical fertilizers, etc., not whether it has seeds. A seedless watermelon can absolutely be organic if grown according to organic standards. So the short answer is no, seedless does not mean GMO. No, it's not dangerous tampering, just clever use of natural plant genetics. And yes, seedless fruits can be grown organically and certified as such. So I thought that was cool. That was really a question I had not thought of, but it does, these days you just don't know, right? How they do these things and if it's okay or if it's not, especially considering that whole thing I did on Stop Eating CRAP, where we talked about the pesticides and things and how plants are genetically modified. So good question. Interesting answer. Okay. So I am doing this program today because I meet with new clients all the time. And when I do, and I might be I'm going to be putting together like a supplement program for them, right? I mean, because that's what I do. It's interesting. Somebody emailed me and asked, said, different family members of hers were working with me and she was considering making an appointment with me, but wanted to know like if she was going to have to take like 15 different pills every day, and just said she had a hard time complying with stuff like that. She'd done that before and wasn't really. And I emailed her back and I said, asking me if I'm going to recommend you take a lot of supplements a day. It's kind of like going to a chiropractor or a massage therapist and asking if they're going to use their hands. Because these are the tools I use and what I do. So I'm one branch of holistic health. I use supplements and I use nutrients in what we call in orthomolecular fashion, and in other words, therapeutically, to achieve a noticeable end, not just to say I don't have rickets, I have enough vitamin D, right? So we might be using vitamin D to mitigate an autoimmune illness like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis or something like that. So these are the tools I'm familiar with and that I use. Now, it doesn't mean they're the only tools. Like, you can go to an acupuncturist, you can go to a massage therapist, a chiropractor. These holistic therapies, and there are many of them, all have their place. But if you're working with me, you're probably going to come out with a list of pills to take. So just say that right up front. So anyway, when I'm talking with people about the things I recommend for them, there are a certain few that I include with everybody. Virtually everyone, unless somebody has a problem with something for some reason, but rarely. So I thought what I would do is kind of hone in on those today. So I have a little presentation. I'm going to share my screen and kind of go through what those are and why. Why is it that we need to supplement these things? And ideally, you're right, you shouldn't, but we do. See if it looks a little crooked. Doesn't matter. It looks, I guess it looks okay. Okay, so share my screen. And okay, now share my screen. Wait a second. There we go. All right. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're excited. The weather here is just really lovely here in Keene, New Hampshire right now for Labor Day weekend. Bring my chat over here so I can see if you guys are talking with me. Move that over there. And see who's here. Okay. Very good. All right. Missing links. Where eating a healthy diet falls short. I had a woman, she came in to see me. She's bipolar. I'm not giving anything away. It's not anybody that I've ever talked about before. And I know that I'm not giving anything away, so I'm not harming her privacy or anything. But very, very, very smart woman, and bipolar disease she's had all her life, and she's been on different medications and things like that through the years, and wants to handle everything without medication, and wants to be healed, and wants this to be taken care of, and so I talked with her, I met with her, and I use nutrients. I know all about MTHFR and folate metabolism defects, and these are very important bases to cover if you're going to try to make a difference using nutraceuticals for something like bipolar disease. And went through all of that. She put up a list of supplements for her, and she proceeded to start on them, and then she came back and said she wanted to bring them all back because they made her feel sick. And Weston A. Price, and everything she's reading, she says that the best way to get your nutrients is through your diet. I totally agree. I totally agree. The nutrients as we find them in foods, in whole foods, and in the combinations they're in that are brilliantly put together, absolutely. But if we're trying to achieve a therapeutic end, we can use greater quantities, or making sure we're getting the right forms and whatnot to really do remarkable things with difficult diseases. So anyway, with that said, missing links. All right. By popular demand, just because people do ask me about this often. Now here I have to do, see, I wish like the slides were like all the same size so I didn't have to constantly drive myself nuts and you like trying to adjust the height. See? No, I don't want to do that. Hang on. Whoops. Oh, no. Okay, let's see. Bear with me. Ah. All right, stop my share. Hang on. All right, I'm going to fiddle around with this while I'm not like, why you're not watching me fiddle around with it? Come on. And now I can't get it to, all right, let me just, I can't get down there and arrow it up. There it is. Hang on. There. Okay. All right, I'm going to adjust it while you're not watching me so I don't embarrass myself too much. Okay, on demand. I wish I could just do, it would be so nice if I could just do the PowerPoint right from here, but you can't do it because I'm on the camera from Zoom. I can't do that. Okay, share my screen again. Boom. Share. Participants. Okay, all right. By popularity, because I get this asked this a lot. Okay. Do I really have to take all these pills? We all know that a healthy diet is foundational to health, but for various reasons, certain key nutrients will go missing if we fail to supplement them, and in most cases daily. So in this presentation, I'd like to focus on those nutrients I include in virtually every client's recommendations, and I'll also tell you why. So this was really fun. I read this, I love this quote because I read it in Goodenough's book, Breaking Alzheimer's, and he says it really early on in the book. He says, "I'll try to make this. I'll try to follow the advice of Albert Einstein, make things as simple as possible, but no simpler." Right. So I said to myself, that really embodies how I work. Do I really have to do this? Can't I just take that? Can't we just see if just that works? Well, we can, but it's like a pot of soup. It's like a pot of soup, right? Will the carrots just work? We'll try the carrots for a month and then we'll add the chicken and then we'll add the garlic and then we'll add the onions and then we'll add the this or that. Things work in a synergy. So I try to keep things for myself and for my clients when it comes to nutritional supplement program as lean and mean as possible, but mean. It can't just be lean. It's got to be mean. It's got to actually do something. So I love that. Make things as simple as possible, but no simpler. Like when I work with cancer, right? You don't just take beta glucan because that does one thing, but you also do glutathione because that does one thing. You do black seed oil because that does another thing. And if you do all these different things, then the cancer really takes a wallop and you have some possibility of getting on top of it. So anyway, that's kind of my philosophy there. So nutrients on today's list, I'm really keeping this a short list. Iodine, and then of course you have to have the selenium to go with it. I don't know that selenium, I wouldn't say that selenium is as hard to find in the daily diet as iodine is, but if I have somebody supplementing iodine, I have to make sure they're supplementing selenium because iodine without selenium as its balancer is not a good thing. The B vitamins, B complex, hugely foundational to health, but you've got to have some nutritional lithium, trace mineral lithium to go along with them, or you don't know if you are able to transport them from the bloodstream where they do you no good into the tissues of the body where they do their work. Vitamin D3, absolutely, and then also the K2, making sure if you're supplementing D3, you're also getting K2 to go with it, and magnesium, just not getting enough magnesium if we don't supplement. So we'll start with iodine. Virtually everyone is deficient in iodine, if not supplementing, and like, why is that? It's critically important. thyroid health and everything that's involved with thyroid hormone health, which is much of many of your body processes, even things that you don't tend to naturally think of as being associated with the thyroid. And then, so cancer prevention, especially hormonal cancers, super important. And iodine deficiency is really a major feature, in my opinion, my educated opinion about this, of why there's so much cancer today, especially breast, ovarian, prostate, and endometrial cancers, hormonal cancers, although iodine is very anti-gastric cancer as well, is important for colon cancer and other cancers. But I like to really focus on its big effect on keeping our toxic estrogens, particularly from igniting cancer in the body. Why isn't iodine adequate in the diet? Iodine was used as a dough conditioner in commercially baked goods until the late 1970s. It was well absorbed into the human body by eating baked bread and goods, that you were eating sandwiches every day or having toast in the morning or whatever, and you were actually getting iodine. Iodine was replaced by the baking industry, the commercial baking industry, back in at the end of the 70s, right? And they replaced it with bromine, which was really kind of a double-edged sword. Well, it was a double insult, because not only is bromine a halide like chlorine and fluoride, it takes up residence. Well, like those chlorine and fluoride, it too takes up residence in the body in the areas where iodine should be. So not only were people not getting iodine, but they were getting a toxin taking up space where in the body where the iodine should be. So that's really the crux of it. So iodine is critically important for the thyroid. Iodine is an essential trace mineral that serves as the critical building block for thyroid hormones, which regulate metabolism, energy production, and growth throughout the body. Without adequate iodine, the thyroid cannot produce sufficient levels of thyroxine, T4, and triiodothyronine, T3, leading to sluggish metabolism, fatigue, weight gain, and even enlargement of the thyroid. Adequate iodine, thyroid nodules, both hyper and hypo, Graves' disease and Hashimoto's, everything can be associated with the nutrients lacking that we need, iodine, selenium, and glutathione, for thyroid health. Adequate iodine ensures the thyroid gland can function optimally, supporting not only energy balance, but also brain development, immune function, and overall hormonal harmony. Iodine and breast health. Iodine plays an important role in breast health because breast tissue, like the thyroid, actively concentrates iodine. Adequate iodine helps regulate how breast cells respond to estrogen, supporting healthy estrogen metabolism and reducing overstimulation that can contribute to fibrocystic changes or abnormal growth. Research suggests that iodine has anti-oncogenic effects in breast tissue, promoting normal cell differentiation and helping protect against DNA damage. By ensuring sufficient iodine intake, women may support both hormonal balance and long-term breast health. Now, I've got a paper. I want to go down a few slides. I'm going to jump over to and actually show you a little bit more about how iodine ingeniously works to protect the breasts from developing cancer. Again, and I would tell you, in the same time period that we saw breast cancer rates skyrocketed noticeably and statistically so in the 80s. So here we had people lost their natural iodine source, their most abundant iodine source in the commercially baked goods. And and breast cancer rates dramatically increased. And I would have to say that 75% maybe of all adult people I see for whatever reason have a thyroid issue. And others have thyroid suspicion of sluggish thyroid based on their symptomatology. So it's a big problem. So iodine and other hormone receptor rich tissues beyond the thyroid and the breast. Iodine also accumulates in other hormone receptor rich tissues, such as the endometrium, the ovaries, the prostate in men. In these tissues, iodine helps regulate how cells respond to hormonal signals, promoting balanced estrogen and androgen activity while reducing the risk of abnormal cell proliferation. So not only does iodine take and all the estrogen in your body, put it that way. There are all these different metabolites. And some of them are toxic. Some of them are benign. So it takes all of those, that estrogen, metabolizes it down to the benign metabolite of estrogen, locks that form into the estrogen receptors in the breasts and in these other areas, blocking out harmful metabolites and turning off oncogenicity. In other words, turning off the tendency to mutate and cause cancer, in a nutshell. Okay. By supporting proper hormone metabolism and exerting antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-oncogenic effects, iodine contributes to the protection and healthy functioning of these hormonally sensitive organs. Adequate intake can therefore be an important factor in maintaining reproductive and metabolic health for both women and men. It must be balanced with selenium. Selenium is a trace mineral that the body needs in very small amounts, but plays an outsized role in health. It's a key component of antioxidant systems like, I get to say it, glutathione peroxidase. Excuse me, which protects cells from oxidative stress and damage. Selenium is also crucial for thyroid health since it helps convert thyroid T4, which is inactive, into T3, the active hormone that we can use, and protects the thyroid gland from free radical damage during hormone production. Beyond this, selenium supports immune function, fertility, and overall cellular health. So what I don't like is for somebody to go, oh, I just heard I need to take iodine for my thyroid, for my breast health, and blah, 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 blah. So they just go out and get iodine, but they're not getting any selenium. So we always want to make sure that we pair them. A dynamic duo when it comes to health. When the thyroid produces hormones, it uses iodine along with hydrogen peroxide as part of the process. While necessary, the hydrogen peroxide is a highly reactive molecule that can damage thyroid tissue if it's not neutralized. Selenium is critical here because it is a cofactor for the enzyme glutathione peroxidase, which safely breaks down excess hydrogen peroxide into water. Without enough selenium, iodine supplementation may increase oxidative stress in the thyroid and trigger inflammation. Using selenium together with iodine ensures the gland can make hormones efficiently while staying protective for oxidative damage. That's why you'll read things. You'll say, well, Becky said I need iodine, but I have Hashimoto's, and I Googled it, and it says that don't take iodine if you have Hashimoto's. Well, this is what they're getting at. They'll say, that's like putting gasoline on the fire. That's because you don't have the balance here of selenium. Now, you can also take glutathione, right? Which I do, but you don't have to make sure you supplement glutathione. Glutathione is great, but you don't have to make sure you supplement glutathione if you're taking iodine, but you do need to make sure that you're supplementing selenium because then you get that glutathione effect, peroxidase effect, and you take away the inflammation that comes as a side as a result of the hydrogen peroxide involvement there. So now when I post this up on my website, it'll go on my page. It'll go on probably my nutrient page today, later on. You're going to be able to open up this PDF that I have opened up right here, and you click there. It's going to take you to my iodine and selenium page, my live page. And I did just add this. This is actually a document I put together for a woman who is post breast cancer. She had surgery, she had mastectomy, and then she had radiation, and they want her to use letrozole as an aromatase inhibitor to deplete the body of all of its estrogen, which is extremely dangerous. And she had side effects with that. So this is a document that I kind of like to offer women as supportive for them to feel comfortable, or at least bring to their doctor and share regarding why you don't need the anti-aromatase drugs if you're using these things. So I'm going to just kind of breeze through it sort of briefly to show you, like, I don't want to get bogged down in this one too much, but iodine and estrogen receptor modulation, molecular iodine as opposed to potassium iodide. So what I use is Lugol solution in the form of iodoral. A lot of you who are with me are using that. This has iodine as potassium iodide for the thyroid, and then it has molecular iodine as a portion of it to do this hormonal stuff. Okay, so it downregulates this estrogen receptor alpha, which is associated with proliferation and tumor promotion, while upregulating estrogen receptor beta, and which is anti-proliferative and protective. This rebalancing effect shifts estrogen signaling from growth promoting to differentiation inducing, helping prevent estrogen-driven tumorigenesis, or the development of breast cancer. It also reduces estrogen-induced gene expression in cancer-prone tissues, effectively calming the estrogen fuel. It has a huge impact on estrogen detoxification here by it breaks it down into the 2-hydroxyestrone over the carcinogenic forms like 16-alpha hydroxyestrone. Okay, so it's dealing with all this estrogen in your body. Who knew? Differentiation, so cells behaving as they're supposed to, as opposed to growing out of control. Metabolites with anti-tumor effects. So in iodine sufficient populations, such as the Japanese women, rates of breast, ovarian, endometrial cancer are dramatically lower. Iodine offsets the mitotic or growth stimulating effects of estrogen, making it a vital component in protocols for fibrocystic breast disease, endometriosis, hormone-sensitive cancers, and general cancer prevention. In contrast, your anti-aromatase drugs are just basically saying estrogen is bad, suck it all out of you, but you can't function. Your brain can't function without estrogen. You're going to lose your hair without estrogen. You're going to have sore muscles and all kinds of stuff going on. This is it's overkill, and it's so unnecessary, and it's so misdirected. So anyway, glutathione works along with that. So anyway, maybe I'll go through that a little bit more. Maybe I'll do something a little bit more focused on breast cancer in general, or why we don't need aromatase inhibitors, et cetera, et cetera. We're talking tamoxifen, letrozole, anastrozole, these very, very nasty drugs with lots of side effects. They are unnecessary, completely unnecessary. Okay, so go back there. All right. The B vitamins and in the proper forms. B complex family is truly at the center of human metabolism. It is the B complex that we're just, and again, the reason they show up in today's presentation is I'm talking about things we must make sure we're getting through supplements. Collectively, the 8B vitamins act as coenzymes in well over 100 enzymatic reactions that drive core physiology. These include energy metabolism, every step of carbohydrate, fat, and protein breakdown into ATP requires B vitamin cofactors, thiamine, B1, riboflavin, B2, niacin, B3, pantothenic acid, B5, DNA, RNA synthesis and repair, folate, B12, and B6, indispensable for methylation, nucleotide formation, and gene regulation. Very interesting when Dr. Goodnow was doing his webinar on Wednesday night, he got into this whole methylation thing and that it's all about DNA methylation. And he talked about homocysteine and folate and all of that. So the way I'm looking at plasmalogens now is, from what I understand, is plasmalogen precursors, using plasmalogen precursors as your anti-aging protocol in maintenance doses is the best way to go, like starting like you do with mitochondrial energy, boosting nutrients around age 30, hormone replacement, things such as DHEA, because they're filling in that side of things. But they completely, they do not negate the things we do when we are making sure that we are supporting the methylation process. And he went very deeply into that importance. So very cool. Shows we've been on the right track here all along. I just think this is like the cherry on top, is getting this these plasmalogen, powerful plasmalogen catalyst supplements in there. Anyway, more on that another day. Neurotransmitter production, B6, folate, and B12. Again, it's part of that whole methylation process. That's how we maintain our mental health. Red blood cell and hemoglobin formation, folate, B12, riboflavin, again, detoxification and antioxidant defense. B vitamins feed the methylation cycle, and glutathione, there we go again, production. So these, again, got to make sure I can't really let somebody walk out of here and feel I've done a good job with them if I leave those out, right? Because I haven't really, I haven't. So that's why. They get used up. They get used up all the time. And so they have to be replaced. They're water soluble, especially when provided in their active forms like methylfolate, methylcobalamin, P5P. B6 are central players in the body's energy and repair systems. They are required for DNA methylation, the process that regulates gene expression. I just said that. Detoxification, proper cell division. B vitamins also support neurotransmitter balance for mood and cognition, help convert food into usable energy, keep homocysteine in check for cardiovascular protection. Using them in the right forms is important, since many people have genetic variations such as MTHFR or metabolic inefficiencies that make it difficult to convert standard vitamin forms into their active usable state. They get used up, and they're used up by stress. That's why, you know, they're a lot of times, if you look for stress formulations of vitamins, they'll be very high in the B complex. So another thing that uses them up are foods that are anti-nutrients, like sugar, and foods, you know, the CRAP foods, foods that require extra vitamins to be donated to even assimilate them because they don't contain them themselves, which is another reason for eating nutrient-dense food and putting all the other stuff to the side. So anyway. Water-soluble, stress, illness, medications, and even normal energy production increase the demand for them, because they're constantly being depleted and only modestly retained. B vitamins need to be replenished every day to keep energy, brain function, detoxification, and overall metabolism running smoothly. So again, I've done a whole presentation on MTHFR. When you get this, you can click on that and go again to this page. MTHFR, folate metabolism, genetic mutation, folate metabolism error, right? Critical, but more of us have this one variant of this mutation than don't. So you can, I assume everybody does, right? So I just make sure that they're getting the right forms of the B vitamins and stuff like that. Because they're just more of us again. Things that can be related: diabetes, cancer, pulmonary embolism, cleft palate, autism, Parkinson's, neural tube defects, atherosclerosis, immune deficiency, ADD, ADHD, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, dementia, chemical sensitivity. The list goes on and on and on. Thyroid dysfunction. So there's really nothing the B vitamins are not important for. Now, this is the other thing. You have to have nutritional lithium, very small trace amount, right? So we're not talking about lithium carbonate in massive doses as a pharmaceutical therapy for bipolar depression. We're talking about trace mineral. It's a mineral we need, just like we need zinc, just like we need molybdenum, chromium, copper, selenium, small amounts. But it's missing. Another thing that should be present in some extent to our food, in our food and water supply, and is not. We cannot assume that we're getting it. So it's really kind of ridiculous to make sure somebody's getting a supplement of the B vitamins and then not making sure they're getting a supplement of the lithium to make sure they can use the B vitamins. So again, making sure that we get the B12 and folate from the bloodstream into the cells, ensuring these nutrients can actually do their jobs in DNA methylation, neurotransmitter balance, and energy production. Even at low doses, lithium has been shown to support mood stability, cognitive health, neuroprotection, and longevity. Its absence in the modern food and water supply makes it one of the missing links in achieving optimal health. And I will say that it is very good for the brain. We're talking low dose. So I think for most people, somebody told me the other day they're doing 20 milligrams. I would say no more than that. That seems to be a sweet spot for her, but for most adults, I think 5 milligrams. Just make sure you have it in there, so that you're sure that you can be using your B vitamins. And then again, I have a page on that. I'm not going to go to it, but you can click on there. Whoops, doesn't look like I made that link, but I will before I post it on my website, so it will be there. And I have a whole video that I did a webinar on lithium. It's really quite fascinating if you want to see that. So vitamin D, the vitamin that's really a hormone. And so vitamin D3, that's one that's really most everybody today seems to really think that they need to supplement. At least the people who come to see me are thinking in these terms already, right? Or they wouldn't be coming to see me. But most people are want to make sure they're getting vitamin D. Vitamin D3 is a fat-soluble nutrient that actually functions more like a hormone than a vitamin. It is a hormone, not a vitamin. The body makes it in the skin when exposed to sunlight. Many people don't produce enough due to limited sun exposure or aging skin. Like I'll get these, people who are senior citizens living in Florida, and they are they've got really tan skin. And they think, I'm out in the sun, I'm getting my vitamin D. No, your tan is blocking the sun, and you're not. I promise you're not getting vitamin D from the sun. So that's another misconception. Vitamin D played key roles in calcium absorption and bone strength, immune regulation, muscle function, and even mood and brain health. Immune regulation, we saw that very much play a prominent role in the discussions in the literature surrounding COVID-19 back in the COVID-19 day. And we know that vitamin D is low in people with autoimmune illnesses, possibly in many cases going back to the fact that the person was low in vitamin D at some point earlier in life when they were infected with some sort of a virus or bacterial infection, and could not mount a proper immune response and confuse the immune system, causing it to kind of run renegade and turn on the person's body. You must pair vitamin D3 with K2. This is one of the problems with vitamin D fortified milk or orange juice, or that kind of thing, because they'll fortify your milk with vitamin D, but they won't fortify it with K2. And K2 works hand in hand with vitamin D3 as a critical cofactor. While vitamin D3 increases calcium absorption from the gut, vitamin K2 ensures that calcium is directed to the right places, into bones and teeth, rather than being deposited in soft tissues like arteries, joints, or kidneys. Without enough K2, vitamin D-driven calcium can end up where it doesn't belong, contributing to vascular stiffness and calcification, cardiovascular disease. With K2 present, calcium is guided into the skeletal system, supporting strong bones and a healthy cardiovascular system by keeping the calcium out of there. So again, want to make sure you're doing that, because most people don't make enough vitamin D3 from sunlight. It's hard to obtain from food. Supplementation is often the only way to maintain healthy levels. Pairing D3 with vitamin K2, again, I just said all of that. Magnesium. The macro mineral with mega impact. Magnesium, 300 different enzymatic reactions. More than that, to keep the cells functioning properly. I've talked about all of these in depth along the way, just kind of going over them again today with regard to the need to supplement. Supports energy production in the mitochondria, regulates muscle and nerve activity, maintains steady heart rhythm and blood pressure, is essential for strong bones. Magnesium also calms the nervous system, promotes restorative sleep, and helps blood sugar balance blood sugar. Because stress, modern diets, and many medications quickly deplete magnesium, even small deficiencies can ripple out into fatigue, tension, and wide-ranging health issues, making it a cornerstone nutrient for overall wellness. This is the problem. Our soils have been magnesium deficiency since the 1930s, and due to intensive farming and food processing, which means even a wholesome diet falls short. So a lot of people eat magnesium, who are health conscious, eat magnesium-rich foods, and there are a lot of them. Leafy greens, nuts, and seeds, and all kinds of things like that. But the soils they're grown in do not have adequate. So this is not transmitted into us in a way. So it's one of those things that we know we need to supplement, especially because it does so many things. And again, I've got to do my link on this one too. We'll take you to that page. It won't right now, but it will by the time you get to it. Okay. Now, this is an easy way to cover people like, I get so many people on the Thorne Basic Nutrients 2 per day. I happen to love this particular multivitamin, and I'm going to show you what's in it. I may have to stop my share and then open it up to a new page, but. Oh, no, it looks like it opened it up right there. Okay, cool. That's great. Okay, this is why. Okay, you've got a full vitamin D3 here as 2,000 international units. So that's good for a lot of people. You might feel that you need more D, or you might know that your D is low, or you might have problems that are associated with that. But I don't take extra D myself. I've been taking this vitamin for, I've never had my vitamin D levels done, but I don't show signs of low vitamin D or anything. I'm not worried about it. So it has that. Then it has the vitamin K at both. It's got K1, which is great. And then it has vitamin K2 as vitamin K, MK4. And 400 micrograms, you've got so you've got the K2 in there as well. I do take extra K2 myself, just because I like to, but you don't have to. That way I'm happy, because this has this right here, if that's what you're going to do, minimum. And then it has the B vitamins in good amounts, and you don't want to do like a B complex 100 where everything's 100 milligrams. That's not how the B vitamins are ratioed in a food situation. So you can take extra Bs and it's not going to really screw things up. You don't want to take just one B and not the others, though, right? Because you can create deficiencies in the others. So people will say, well, I don't take a multivitamin and I don't take a B complex, but I take B12. And I'm like, well, you have to take the other Bs too if you're going to take B12. That's just the way it is. I'm not the message, I'm just the messenger. Okay, so then it has B6 in pyridoxal 5-phosphate, which is an active form. It has riboflavin, vitamin B2 in the active form. And I take an extra 400 milligrams of this daily just because of my MTHFR situation and what I know about my genetics, but not everybody needs to do that. But you want to make sure, and you're getting good, high quality, very well absorbed forms here. Folate in active forms here in a good dose. Methylcobalamin in an active form of B12 at a decent dose. Most of your multivitamins, you're going to see that around, I don't know, 12 or 10 micrograms, which you might as well not even have it. I usually have most people using extra B12 too, but whoops. I have a hand up here. So let's see how I do this. Allow to talk and go to there. And then, hi, Joe. Let's see, ask to unmute. And then,
Becky,
whoops. Hey, I can hear you. Promote to
very good.
panelist. Yeah,
Uh, should I hit anything else? A panelist? No.
yeah,
Um,
you can do that. And then we can see you if you want to be on
oh,
video. But I don't know, if you just want to talk, go ahead because we can hear you.
yeah, Becky, you were mentioning, I take iodine, but you were mentioning that you should be taking selenium.
Right.
Uh, and I'm not sure. I know it's in that, basic nutrients one.
Right. I was just about to get to that because I was talking about the B vitamins. Now, if we go down here, I was just going to show everybody that we're getting the full 200 micrograms, which is a really good ideal dose of selenium in the Soren basic nutrients.
Yeah, but with the basic nutrients, unfortunately, instead of taking two a day, I take one because the vitamin C, if I take two of them and I get any other vitamin C, it sometimes gives me false readings on my meter for my blood sugar.
Okay. Well,
So,
if you're getting 100 micrograms daily of selenium, I think that that's okay.
all right, that's I
Yeah.
just wanted to double check that because it sounded like I needed that with the iodine.
Yeah, you do, but you are getting, and if you're getting 100, I'll be happy with that. I mean, for most people, I'd like to see them getting 200, but you're not in any danger.
All right, excellent, excellent. Now, I don't know
Okay.
if anybody else had their hand raised, but I've had it raised for 20 minutes. I think you might have to check a little more often.
Yeah, I haven't glanced over there. I've just been looking at
Yeah.
my slides. I apologize for that.
No, no, no problem. I just don't want to make sure that, nobody else misses.
Um, okay. So very good. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for that. I have to remember to watch for that. Okay, so anyway, I was going to talk about that. And then you've got your good trace minerals and everything here. It's got 200 micrograms of 400 micrograms of chromium, which is very good for blood sugar control. It's got some lutein in there, which is, and then, your other things, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, I mean, your vitamin A, some vitamin A, some vitamin E. So anyway, what I wanted to, why I'm saying that is because it covers a lot of those bases. So um, that can cut down on your number of pills. Key bases I also like to cover with people to make sure they're getting, but these are a little bit different. So I'm not going over those today. I like to, again, use things to boost mitochondrial energy. As we get older, we start to make less vital cellular energy around age, the ripe old age of 30. So things that we use there, glutathione is absolutely essential for protecting mitochondrial energy. Then we can use things like coenzyme Q10, PQQ, L-carnitine, magnesium, riboflavin are mitochondrial energy boosters in their own rights as well. And lipoic acid, there's many. But those things are important. So we want to I like to make sure people are doing those things. But again, if we're saying things that are missing, if you don't get them from your diet and super critically important, it would be those. Glutathione, of course, plasmalogen precursors, I think are smart anti-aging things to do, bioidentical hormones. But these are the things that no matter what, or what age somebody is, or whatever, these things need to be supplemented, in my educated opinion. So I hope this helps. Keeping things lean and mean, as simple as possible, but no simpler. Now you know why. When someone asks me, do I really have to take all these pills? My answer is yes, you do. Best amount of women, I read 350 milligrams, but wonder if that is a little low. So 350 milligrams is elemental magnesium, and that's kind of the upper limit, but nobody's getting that. Like when you take 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, for instance, 12% of that is elemental magnesium. So 400 times 0.12, only 48 milligrams of elemental magnesium. So we kind of go according to, let me actually share my screen again. I'm going to go to my website really quickly, to my magnesium page. And then just show you, I want to show you like a good resource you can look at for all the different, there's like so many different forms of magnesium, and they all kind of do different things. So the link to my magnesium page is going to be in the PDF that I that I put on my website. When I put the video up and I announce to you that it's there, I will show you that. But if you go down here, suffering from magnesium confusion, meet your magnesium match. So many different forms. So these kind of go through them. What are the highest, like the things that I tend to really go for with people are like magnesium glycinate, bound to glycine. Very high bioavailability, very gentle on digestion, so not causing the diarrhea, and things like magnesium oxide you use for if you're constipated, because basically you're not absorbing any of it, maybe 2% is getting into your body, and the rest is staying in your colon and just loosening, pulling the water into your colon and loosening the stool and making it easier to have a bowel movement if you're suffering from constipation. So you can kind of look through at the different ones. So the one that I use myself and carry for most purposes for people is a combination of malate and glycinate. And so I would say generally with depending on the magnesium that you have, whatever your supplement says for a dose is probably just about right. I do have another hand raised. Let's see, where is that one? I don't think so. I think it's just still there from the last time from Joe. So I don't see anybody else. Whoops. Kristen, I do have you with your hand raised. Allowed to talk. Ask to unmute. Kristen? Hey.
You basically answered my question.
Okay.
I asked about the magnesium through the
Yep.
tube in case you saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do like the citrate specifically because it does help, bowel movements so well.
Right.
The glycinate, and I often I find that if I take just a little over 350, I like it better, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was taking too much.
No, if you're taking, so a lot of times people would take magnesium glycinate, even as much as 1,200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, because of the 12% is elemental. So what you really want to do is like know what the elemental portion is in a certain, like magnesium taurate, right? Which I'm looking at right here is high, but it's like you take magnesium taurate and like 4% of it is actual elemental. It's very good for the heart, but you got to take a lot of it.
I see.
So, yeah. So, and there's no harm with combining like a magnesium citrate with a magnesium glycinate. You can
Mhm.
combine magnesium forms if you're using them for different reasons. And it's pretty hard to get 350 milligrams of elemental magnesium.
So it's the elemental part that's the part that I need to pay attention to.
Yeah, the elemental part is the part that you don't want to go over 350 milligrams a day, but like nobody's getting that when they're taking magnesium supplements.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, very good question. Okay. All right. So I think that brings us right up to the end of the program. Oh, thank you. Susan, I take Remag, which is mag chloride. I like it because of that it's a liquid. Yeah, the mag chloride, the Remag, we talked about that. Carolyn Dean's company there is a good way to get. Magnesium chloride is very well absorbed. Magnesium chloride is also really well absorbed through the skin, which, believe it or not, for magnesium is a great way to get magnesium. You can't do that with every mineral. You can't, calcium, for instance, you can't rub into your skin and have it get into your body because the molecular structure is too large of a molecule. Whereas magnesium is very tiny and it gets into the skin very, very well. And chloride, I found, Susan, that I don't like taking it that way because I just won't do it. Like by the time I get all my supplements down and take my glycine powder, take my inositol powder and blah, blah, blah. I just, my MSM powder in the morning, I don't want another liquid to take, and I don't like the way that tastes. So I don't do my magnesium that way. But anyway, thank you everybody for being with me. And I just hope that you have I'm going to make sure I don't have anybody else with their hand up. I don't think so. I think that was from before. And thanks for everybody for being here. If you have any questions, just shoot me email or go to my website and contact us, and that will come to my email. And have a great weekend. I'll be back next week. I think I'll talk about the cholesterol, where the cholesterol transport comes into this whole health thing, how plasmalogens have to do with that, but it'll be more about explaining the cholesterol and very exciting. And I think you'll really enjoy that. Okay, take care, be well, and goodbye.